Another video reply to someone's accusations and hidden reactions. This particular video starts off by already exposing the speaker's ability to judge something very early by saying that we act like a cult, which, considering the rest of his video, influences the way he looks at us and whatever info we share with him, because his cult stigma already made us dirty in his mind. And if one cannot remove such a judgment, it's very hard to hear a person without judging them. He goes on to say that he will not mention our name because we will file a copyright claim against him, which is a misuse of the DMCA. We file copyright complaints for people who spread lies about us, who promote hatred and misrepresentation of our group. If that misrepresentation or hate speech includes a picture from us, voice or name, it is even easier to file a complaint. And why would we want to allow false information about us online? He said sorry I may cough a couple of times because I'm sick. Okay, so he says it is hard to tell who said what because he can't remember, because we all look alike with our head shaved. I don't know, but before I shaved my hair and now I could easily distinguish people and know who is who, even with strangers with a shaved head. It doesn't stop me from seeing who's who. He then begins to talk about equal money, asking questions that are not really questions but words to try and provoke us into saying something that he can use to then call us specific names or judge us in the way he already is judging us. He talks about money simply being a medium of exchange, and increasing the money supply doesn't increase the wealth, and then making a quick assumption that maybe Bernard will be in charge, which shows that he has not even looked at the Equal Money website, because it stated even on the front page how the system will be handled and that we will work with a rotating administration. And the Equal Money system is a work in progress. We are expanding it as we go and will incorporate many more things when more expertise is acquired. The point I see within this all is people like to argue about what they think is wrong and will not work, and on the other hand they simply live their life in the system, which creates massive abuse worldwide. It's like people defend their own enslavement. It is easy to spot people who care and people who already have their mind made up. People who care will read and will work together with us to create the change we require in this world, and to constructively deal with points by also looking for the answers themselves. People who don't care show it in their words, their sarcasm or little insults here and there, or already made judgments like the one about Bernard maybe being in charge, making mostly accusations, saying what won't work, what will go wrong, what the fears they have, making accusations and not really thinking about an answer or being constructive. So in this video I won't go into the equal money system details. There are numerous videos made about this, lots of articles as well. And we are working on it, and the forum is there for people who want to contribute. The equal money system has a central rule, and that is what is best for all. And that includes no self-interest that abuses others. If people want to exchange amongst themselves and it includes some form of abuse, it is simply not allowed. We are one planet, all of us together. It is time we start to care about each other as ourselves. Okay, and there's a quote from his video saying, would you allow for secondary forms of exchange, like a market for instance, or would this be completely illegal? Would it have to be a black market? Because if that's the case, then I wonder this, assuming you would stop me, how would you stop me? That's my question, how would you stop me? Okay, sounds like a question asked to try and call us dictators or fascists or whatever. If a secondary form of exchange is abusive, or it creates abuse, then no, it will not be allowed, period. And abuse is abuse in facts, such as exploitation and manipulation, for example. Considering our limitations in this existence, of course, because I mean, like for bugs, for example, they still die when we step on them, when we walk in the grass. Also realize that when you create alternative routes, it inevitably leads to big consequences to the overall function of the system. So we simply so we oh damn so we simply have to look out for that and have models and see what will work and what will not work. This has to be worked out in detail. So the real question is, if there would be a system that does what is best for all, that takes care of people worldwide through the people as well, of course, why would a person then want to disagree with the world and what is best for all? Best for all means best for all, again considering our limitations in this reality. The equal money system is a system that will lead to a world where people understand what it means to live as equals and to understand why we have become the way we are right now. Greed and ego control the world right now, so humanity's perception is shaped by those in power. They have the means and money to present things in a way so the status quo is not changed. So the people accept it and follow it and don't even know that they are. It also looks like the person is fearing control and fears being controlled and stuff like that. So realize we already are. Look at the system we have worldwide: starvation, exploitation, forced prostitution, sweatshops, commercials to make people into good consumers, dumbing down of the population, creating stereotypes and judgments, etc. If you fear being in a prison, you haven't woken up to the one you are already in. Also, equal money is not communism where one isn't allowed to have more than the other. Equal money means equality as life, as our birthright. And a person can still work and earn extra money for extra things. We are right now conditioned in a world that makes sure we remain in the bubble of the pursuit of happiness, actually the pursuit of money. When everyone is equally supported and can live a dignified life, wanting and desiring to have the most money or power can only come from a starting point of ego or greed. Why is this allowed? Why do we allow abusers that only care for themselves to decide the plan of this world? It's like a sickness. It actually reminds me of something I heard about it in university, and that's the pursuit of loneliness, where people deny their connectedness with each other and isolate themselves, where they find others as a nuisance and much more easily and start to treat each other as objects, and then going into competition to try and fill the gap they feel inside themselves by getting more power and fighting for their ego, trying to fill the gap inside them, which leads to a worldwide battle between egos. It is simply a syndrome from the way of living that we have allowed in this current system. And people talk about democracy, but where is it? It's not even being lived. People are not given an equal starting point and are manipulated because of the profit-driven machine to have different beliefs and opinions, shaping their views and even their choices. And yes, even their votes. Many of us do not like the current system. Many people dislike it. So the question is, why do we allow it? And why do you participate? Because we have become numb and believe this is the only way and that there is no other way. So equal money is the installation of the power of the people, overcoming the minority that have controlled the system and made sure it is kept in place by the ones they allow to be in place. Do you think this system works by chance? No, it is very well planned. The majority on this planet suffers. Give the majority a real voice, and they will not choose this current system. We want to give the majority the voice, not the minority that rules all currently. So then the person ends by saying, one last thing, if your response to this is to tell me just to go to the website and just see what it says on the website, which I've seen you do in comment sections, like I said in this video, I've already checked the website out. I wasn't really impressed by it. When it's not filled with ambiguity, it's filled with spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. And I don't mean like one or two, you know, like in all this, but it's, I mean, all over the place. It's like it's written by a fucking 4-year-old. Seriously, get a clue. If you had already checked it out, then why didn't you see that we spoke about a rotating government and you started to speak about a central leader? Or do you mean by reading to read 5 sentences, scroll, read some more and then close the page? Also, it puzzles me why some people want text to be written as if we are scientists, to make it so difficult that regular folks have a hard time understanding. We want everyone to understand it. We keep it simple. We don't want to sound intellectual or have this aura of greatness or whatever. And if you're just pointing to the fact that we make grammatical errors or spelling mistakes, who the fuck cares? Whoa, a spelling mistake. You can still read the text. You can still read the sentences. You can still have the understanding. Why then, instead of reading and understanding, going off into a rant about spelling mistakes, making spelling the priority, making a big deal out of the smallest part of the sentence? Whoa, and of course haters do this because they want anything to complain about. And we will probably also have spelling checked for things so that people who have this issue with it can overcome it and first read the messages and have an understanding and later in their life realize spelling is not really that important. There are much more important things in life.